All right, sports fans, how's everybody out there doing? William Martin coming at you one more time here on YouTube with another edition of the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge Podcast. Now, with a record of 22 and 29, the underachieving Philadelphia Phillies made a managerial change last week when they fired Joe Girardi and promoted Rob Thompson. Girardi's departure has provided a spark for the Phillies if they've won each of their last games, 8 games under Thompson. And once you factor in that Philadelphia did win their last game under Girardi, they now have themselves a 9 game winning streak. Now, following today's 4-0 win over the Arizona Diamondbacks, the Phillies are above 500 for the first time since April 12th. Philadelphia is still in third place in the National League East, but they now trail the New York Mets by 8.5 games, and they are trending upwards. And I think that's something that does it's definitely something to build off of for the Phillies. Because at one point they were down double digits as far as games back of the Mets, and the Mets are still playing some solid baseball. In spite of all of their injuries, but nonetheless, the Phillies definitely have to be feeling good as far as what they've been able to do in the past week and change. Now, on this current winning streak, the Phillies pitching staff has recorded 3 shutout wins, while they've also held opposing offenses to 3 runs or fewer in 6 of those contests. Consecutive solid starts from Zach Wheeler. He gave the Phillies 6 solid innings last weekend versus the Angels, and he did it once again today against Arizona. We've seen Reese Hoskins start to get his bat going as he's hitting 281 this month to go along with a pair of homers today. Now, Bryce Harper already has a couple of NL MVPs under his belt, and the way that he's hitting right now, he's definitely going to be in the mix again. This month alone, Harper is hitting 407 with 5 home runs and 13 runs batted in. And we have not even hit the midway mark of the month of June. Now, the Phillies are doing what good teams should do, and that is taking advantage of a soft spot in their schedule. And at the end of the day, there's absolutely nothing apologetic for them to do about that or be about that, because the bottom line is you got to go out there and win as many games as possible. They won their final game under Girardi, which was to salvage the series against the San Francisco Giants as they avoided a sweep. We saw them last week sweep the Los Angeles Angels at home. And of course, the Angels were in the midst of a rut themselves as they went on to lose 14 consecutive games before ending their streak. We look at the Milwaukee Brewers, and the Brewers were in first place in the NL Central, but they've hit a slump as well. And the Phillies took advantage of that as they swept them in Milwaukee this week. And then they've come back right now and taken the first 2 of this series versus the Arizona Diamondbacks. And after the Phillies are done with Arizona tomorrow, they host the Miami Marlins, who are in fourth place in the National League East, for 3 games before they're on the road to take on the Washington Nationals for a 5 game set over the weekend. And of course, the Nats currently find themselves in the basement of the NL East. And then Philly will be on the road for 2 games against the Texas Rangers, who are a sub 500 team themselves. But then after that, the schedule picks up. We're talking about 4 games in San Diego against the Padres, and the Padres are playing some great ball right now, which is followed by 3 at home versus Atlanta, who the Phillies are looking up to right now in second place in the East, and then 3 more with the St. Louis Cardinals, who are currently in first place in the NL Central. And the Cardinals are always a very difficult team. Now, the thing about it is, we saw something similar from the Phillies many moons ago. And I say that because you go back to 2006, and the Phillies had a solid squad that was capable enough to make the playoffs. They didn't. They were underachieving. And then we saw the Phillies have a fire sale just prior to the trade deadline. And then the next thing you know, they really got it going. They had, succeeded too much ground to the New York Mets at that point to catch them for the divisional crown for 2006. But nonetheless, the Phillies did come back in 2007. They did overcome a deficit versus the Mets. and they won the division on the last day of the season. And then, of course, the following year, Philly was able to keep that momentum going as they won their first World Series championship since 1980. I'm not saying it's going to happen again, but it's something definitely, if you're a Phillies fan, to be optimistic about. This team still has some holes. Don't get me wrong. I mean, there's still some question marks in regards to their bullpen. There's still some question marks as far as some of their signings, a la Kyle Schwarber and Nick Castellanos. But nonetheless, if you are a Phillies fan, you have to like what you're seeing right now. More importantly, if you're this Phillies team, you have to like how you feel because winning, just like losing, is infectious. And of course, you win one game, okay, you come back, you win the following day, and you got a win streak, and anything can happen after that. We've seen the Phillies start to get some breaks that they weren't getting before. And, hopefully for their sake, they're looking to turn the corner. Not going to be easy because, again, the Mets, even for all of their injuries, they're still in first place in the National League East. They're not going anywhere as far as, um, not saying that they're going to win the division, but they've put themselves in a good spot nonetheless. But still, they have what it takes to be a playoff team. And at some point, they're going to get healthy. The Atlanta Braves, after the slow start, they are starting to figure it out. They are the defending World Series champions. And I guarantee you, they are going to be a tough out for everybody for the remainder of the series. You also have to factor in the teams from the NL West. You look at the Dodgers and Padres, they're a class above everybody else. Milwaukee at some point is going to get it back on track. And of course, St. Louis right now is currently holding it down. But with that said, Philadelphia is right back in the mix to make a run at a postseason berth. And that's the thing about the MLB season. It is truly, indeed, a marathon and not a sprint, as you got 162 games to figure it out. The slow start by the Phillies definitely put them in a tight spot, but luckily for their sake, you know what? They've been able to rebound. You can't fire the players because they were indeed underachieving. So, of course, you fired the manager, but it still put the locker room on notice that they have answered in a positive way. And let's see if the Phillies can keep this momentum going up throughout the remainder of the summer. So, folks, that is going to wrap it up. And as always, I want to take this time out to thank you for tuning into the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge podcast here on YouTube. I want to take the time out to thank all of you fine folks out there for tuning in. And if you have not already, please feel free to subscribe to this channel. Now, if you're on Twitter, please feel free to follow me at 300 Pounds of Sports. And like I always say, if you follow me, it'll be my pleasure to follow you right back. There's also the sports discussion group on Facebook at the Sports Depot 365. You can check it out. Drop a line and be a part of one of the better sports debating sites going on social media. So, once again, fine folks, my name is William Martin. I am signing off, saying take care and have yourselves a wonderful day.